I knew it all along. Sean O'Malley was not beaten by a better fighter. Sean O'Malley was just injured, and that is the only reason why he lost on the weekend. Before you dislike the video, I'm being facetious, I'm exaggerating, I'm joking, but some information has now come to light that Sean O'Malley had a pretty significant injury, whether it was coming into this fight versus Merab Dvalishvili, or he got the injury in the fight. And as a personal trainer and gym owner of the last 14 years, working with loads of clients, and now I have an app, shameless plug down below, fitness app to help you get strong and build muscle naturally. In my professional opinion, this injury that Sean O'Malley had would have contributed towards this loss significantly. You can call it cope, I don't care, because I am a consummate professional within the fitness industry and I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yes, so we're going to react to that. We're also going to react to Jon Jones, once again for the 5th time on the run, confirming his retirement and completely shutting down any potential opportunity of a Tom Aspinall fight. And we're going to take a look at Dana White's reaction to both these individual stories, Sean O'Malley and Jon Jones. Let's jump straight in. First off, Aidan Ross, streamer and good friend of Sean O'Malley, had a call with Sean where Sean confirmed this information and said that he could potentially be taken a year out from the game.
Don't take that long of a break, dude. The game needs you, bro. Like, come on, bro. I need you.
I have to get surgery. I have surgery on October 3rd.
Really?
I tore my labrum
what
like 10 weeks ago.
What the fuck is a lab? What is that?
It's a little, you have a labrum in both your shoulders and in your hips.
Yeah.
I tore the left labrum in my hip. So I got surgery. That's the only reason I'm going to be out for so long. The surgery should only take like 2 months to come back from. Then it'll take, a couple months recovery. So a year's long. A year's a long time. It could be 6 to 8 months. But I'm just kind of going with the flow. You never know.
Now, for those that don't know, if you tear your labrum, it's a pretty significant injury because it's responsible for a lot of the functions within the hip. Now, when you're defending takedowns, what are the predominant muscles that you're going to be using? What's the predominant joint that you're going to be using to sprawl and defend takedowns? It's your hips. It's your hips. You need healthy hips in order to be able to defend takedowns. This is absolute fact. So the labrum is responsible for the stability within the hip, and it's heavily used in sports that require dynamic movements like sprinting, like running, like swimming, gymnastics, combat sports. So this basically means if Sean O'Malley wasn't injured, he would have won this fight. I'm messing. I'm only joking. And look, guys, I know I was hating on Merab a little bit the other day. Well, I wasn't even really hating on him. If you go back and actually watch the full video and don't just pay attention to the title, you can hear I do actually defend Merab and I give him credit where credit is due. I just don't like this lay and pray style of grappling where it feels like there's no intention on them finishing the fight. But look, injury or not, a lot of the responsibility goes to Sean. At the end of the day, Sean knew what Merab was going to do and he was not able to stop it. It's the same arguments for Khabib. When people used to rip on Khabib all the time and they'd say, oh, he's got a boring style, I'd argue against it and say, no, Khabib's style is actually pretty exciting because he's going to take you down, but he's going to batter you on the ground, and every single one of his opponents knows exactly what he's going to do, and they had years to prepare for him and they just could not stop him from doing it. Khabib didn't need a game plan. He did the same thing every single time, and Merab is the exact same. So my take on this is that Sean knew obviously what Merab was going to do. They game planned for it, but they either had a pre-existing injury coming into this fight or they got injured in the fight. Now, I don't think it was a pre-existing injury coming into the fight, and the reason why I say that is because Sean said on his podcast the other day that he had a pretty decent camp. He didn't mention anything about injuries.
Yeah, it was trippy.
It was wild, really wild.
Resorts World, fire. Great fight week. Best weight cut. Felt good. No excuses. People, my mom too, she's like, what? Why? You just weren't the same. Like, what was wrong? I'm like, nothing. I just got beat. There was nothing. Everyone keeps asking me that. Like, what? Something seemed off. Something seemed different. You're flat footed. It's like, there was nothing. Zero excuses. Nothing. Had a good fight camp. Had a good weight cut.
Definitely were a little lighter than you usually were.
Weight-wise, yeah, I was a little bit lighter.
And that's pretty much it. No mention of injuries, so something leads me to believe that he probably got injured during the fight. And when you take a look at every takedown that Merab got on Sean, yeah, it was great timing by Merab, but something just didn't seem right. It seemed like O'Malley didn't have any sort of explosiveness in his shots. A part of that could have just been because he was expecting a takedown and he couldn't really get out of first gear. And here's one of the examples. I can't show too much just because of copyright. But Merab shoots from fairly far out. It's hard to really tell the distance because of this angle. And he's still able to get a pretty easy takedown on Shaun. Shaun isn't able to get his hips back behind him that effectively. There's no sprawl. He kind of just is upright when he gets taken down and just leans back against the cage. So watch now. See, okay, Merab grabbed his leg there, gets taken down easily, controlled very easily. And there's countless examples of this. So Merab goes in, easy takedown, no problem whatsoever. And Shaun able to get back up there. Now, this was an absolutely fantastic takedown by Merab. So he times Shaun coming in and whoop, there you go. Incredible timing. Literally countless examples of this in the fight. To be honest, a lot of them aren't really Shaun being bad, and I don't think it's any hip issues in those clips. It is just Merab is that good. Everyone's saying that Shaun O'Malley's crap, I disagree. I think he's good. He's always shown decent takedown defense and great distance management, but Merab is just that much better. I'm singing Merab's praises here. But anyway, go back and watch the fight on TNT Sports. You'll see what I mean. Shaun doesn't quite have that explosiveness there. There's even a sequence where Shaun lands a left hand and then Merab goes in for the takedown and Shaun lands a knee and it connects clean. But you can see that when Shaun throws that left hand and the knee, there's no pop in it. There's no snap. It's just kind of like boop, a little bop on the nose and a little bop with the knee on the face. And if that labrum was torn, either pre-fight or in the fight, you're going to be limited in how much power you can develop because you've no longer got the stability within the hip, and stability is everything. Without stability, you are weak. The muscle is weak. The joint is weak. Right now, here's Dana White's reaction to hearing about Shaun O'Malley being injured.
O'Malley announces today he's having hip surgery, and I don't understand how these guys fight with he has a torn labrum, and then 2 days later they're having surgery. I mean, isn't there a process in place? That's a pretty significant injury. You can't, fight at your best performance if you have a torn labrum, right?
I agree.
So, how do you prevent that from happening where they're supposed to disclose to the commission and they don't do that?
You can't. You know what I mean? If these guys come in and they have something and we don't know, I mean, how would the doctors check for a torn labrum? You know what I mean? You can't.
Knowing what you know now, does that explain the performance, or do you think Merab was just so good in that fight that he was going to win the fight on that given night?
Combination of both.
Anyways,
literally everybody reached out to me that night and said Shaun O'Malley didn't look like himself. He didn't look explosive. He didn't look, all the same stuff we were all saying that night.
Right. And then lastly,
not to take anything from Merab.
I do think it's a combination of both. I think Merab is just that good, but I do think we would have seen a better Shaun O'Malley without that injury. Well, of course, that would have been the case. Because we know that Shaun O'Malley can get takedowns. He got a takedown against Petr Yan, but where were those takedowns in this fight? And sometimes that can be the problem, though. When you're going up against such an offensive wrestler, your entire fight camp consists of defensive wrestling. We heard Conor McGregor talking about that back in the day against Khabib. All Conor did in his fight camp was defensive wrestling. And he even said after it, in our fight camp, we didn't do any attacking. It was all about defense. And really, if you have a fight camp that's all about defense, you're submitting to the idea that you're going to be the one on the back foot. You're almost accepting that your opponent is going to be the one pushing the pace of the fight rather than preparing to be the attacker. So it's just some interesting thoughts anyway. Right now, Jon Jones, the GOAT, the pound for pound greatest in the world, did an interview with these cocked and loaded guys, and he talked about retiring. Let's listen.
The GOAT, what was it like meeting Pereira?
He was amazing.
I know.
He was so humble and just big and strong, and he was just an awesome guy, awesome champion.
Any words from O'Malley coming losing his bout? You know what I mean?
It was tough to see, man. It was tough to see. But hats off to Merab. He's a hardworking young man. He's great for the sport. He's an entertaining guy.
And how you feeling? You look in shape? You ready for November?
I feel great. Yeah, I feel really, really good. I'm about 250 pounds lean and strong.
Is this your retirement fight in November, or no? You got more?
It's gonna be the last time.
It's gonna be the last time? Hey, you're a legend. Hey, thank you.
More than likely.
It was an honor. You're like,
oh, my pleasure. Yes, you get.
He said, this is going to be the last time. This is going to be the last time. More than likely. So, regardless of negotiations, I think Dana White could offer Jon Jones 20, 30, 40 million for another few fights, and Jones would probably say no. Jones wants this to be his legacy fight. And a few months ago, Tom Aspinall actually made this suggestion at his post-fight press conference after the Curtis Blades fight.
Here's a thought for you. I was thinking about this the other day. What about, so they're saying that Stipe and Jon Jones are going to fight in MSG in November. Why don't we do a tournament? We'll do Jon, Stipe, me, Alex, and do a 4-man tournament, 2 fights in one night, and let's find out who the real heavyweight champion of the world is. Like, we've got the best heavyweight of all time, we've got the best MMA fighter of all time, we've got the light heavyweight champion, and then we've got me, who's just a poxy interim champion. Do you know what I mean? Let's do that, 2 fights in one night, put it to Dana. I'm sure Dana's going to be here in a minute. And he's been.
Dana didn't really like the idea of him moving up.
No, I don't. I am honestly the biggest fan of Alex Pereira. Like, he's one scary guy. But would that not be a cool little thing? 2 fights in one night. Let's see how we get on. I mean, I've got the lowest average fight time in the UFC, and it's even lower after tonight. Like, my chances of doing all right in that are pretty good. Like, let's put some money on the table, and let's see who the guy is at heavyweight.
Now, that would be sick. Imagine a tournament between those 4 competitors. It would be insane. The only problem is that Dana White wouldn't want to do it because, as I said in one of my videos last week about, like, Dana White wants to try and squeeze as much juice as possible from every little marketing strategy that he's got. So when he puts on a Conor McGregor card, the rest of the card is crap because he's trying to just squeeze as much juice from the pay-per-view, from the gate as possible, just from the Conor McGregor play. And last week, the juice that he was squeezing was the Sphere. That was the attraction. Sean O'Malley, I don't think he's got as much juice to be squeezed. This is sounding a little bit dodgy. You get me point? And that's why the UFC will only rarely put on these crazy stacked cards. Because on one of those crazy cards, each fight on the main card could be their own pay-per-view themselves, and therefore he's got more oranges and therefore more juice to squeeze. So what I'm trying to say is, if Dana White put on a tournament, how many pay-per-views would it sell? Like maybe 1 million, or maybe go crazy and get like 1.2 million, or he just does Jones and Stipe and that gets 800k anyway, and then he does Pereira versus Tom Aspinall and that does 800k or more or less, don't know. Dana would be missing out on 2 to 4 pay-per-view events if he did a tournament. So although it sounds like a great idea for us, the fans, it wouldn't be so much for business for Dana White, the UFC. Right, so Dana White reacts to what Jon Jones said about retiring officially, and then he also talks about Tom Aspinall and the next step for him.
Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic is officially happening. Jon then was seen ringside saying that this is probably the last one. I'm sure there could be negotiations involved, but have you spoke to him about maybe his future after this event?
Why speak to him after this event? You got to figure out what's going to happen in this fight. See how this fight plays out, and then we'll go from there.
Is Tom Aspinall officially the backup for that fight?
Yes. Tom Aspinall is next in line for anything that happens after this fight.
Which is great to hear. So it's confirmed by Dana White. Tom Aspinall is 100% going to be the next in line. But let's face it, Jon Jones retiring, Stipe Miocic retiring. So where does that leave Tom Aspinall? Is he just going to be now the undisputed champion? Or is he going to have to fight for the undisputed championship? Like, what the hell? It almost leaves the heavyweight division in limbo. Where does it go after this Stipe and Jones fight in November? Guess we'll have to see. Also, guys, it's Anthony Joshua's fight this weekend on Saturday, and it's going to be on a little bit earlier, so we're going to go live for it here on this channel. I've got a new fitness video coming tomorrow, just waiting on me thumbnail guy. Check out all the links in the description. Check out me app if you want to join it, you want to build muscle. I'm 5-6 weeks back into me training myself. I've gained 15 pounds, packing on the mass, getting stronger. You want to come and join me? Gain some mass for Christmas? Check out the Apex Athlete app down below. It's £1 a day, completely affordable. Have me as your personal coach. Nice one. See you all tomorrow.